Have you guys heard what's going down in South Africa with this whole white farmers getting their land taken away without reparations? And Donald Trump tweeted, saying, a bunch of lies, as he always do. He tweeted saying that white farmers are getting killed and all this other bullshit, which is all a lie. And it's kind of crazy how all white supremacists, when they start a lie, they all go into that same lie. They all go and start perpetuating that same lie. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of crazy because before Donald Trump tweeted this, the type of job I have, I'm not even going to say it here, but it allows me to actually interact with a lot of people from all over the world. And the thing is that I met this couple that was from South Africa, and they moved here, and they've been living here for a couple of years now, right? They've been living in the States for a couple of years. And the thing is, the subject of conversation ended up leading up to South Africa. And they started saying all this other shit. Well, it's horrible out there. The farmers are dying because South Africa is taking the land away from the people. And I'm like, don't you think? I was like, isn't that like a good thing? He's like, well, it's not. Just because they're white, they're still South African. I'm like, well, didn't those people kind of, I don't know, didn't earn that? They were given that land because of racism, and now they're giving it back to the people. Well, that's a slippery slope if we go through all of that shit. And they just basically was caping. So all automatic was, these are a bunch of white supremacists. You know what I'm saying? So I already wrote them off. But the leader of the EFF, which, shout out to him, because he's basically saying, fuck Trump and fuck y'all. We're still going to do our thing. And this is what he said.
Trump, my view is that Donald Trump is contributing in this debate which is going on. And in the process of contribution, Donald Trump made a similar contribution that were made by white people, all of them, in the hearings, in the public hearings. Donald Trump is not saying anything we have not heard from white people in all the hearings. I even commented and said, I'm still to meet a white person who support expropriation of land without compensation. So why are you shocked?
Now let me pause there for a second. Great fucking point. Great point. He has yet to meet a white person that is basically okay with black people taking their freedom. See, this is the thing. This is what I've noticed. Whenever a white person or the people in the dominant society is giving something to black people out of their own pocket, out of their own terms, out of their, okay, we've figured this out and this is how we're gonna do it because I'm making the decision to do it. They're totally fine with that. Everything's a-okay. Everything is, everything is cool. But whenever black people actually rise up and start saying, yo, nah, fuck this shit. We're taking over and this is how we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it in our own terms. That's when shit starts hitting the fan. Whoa, we don't know what's going on. We don't know who you're talking about. This is racism, reverse racism. You know what I'm saying? They start going to this whole tangent. But I'm gonna continue letting y'all listen to this.
I see leaders of the EFF and everybody responding to Donald Trump. I don't have time for nonsense. I expected this. And more backlash is going to come. If South Africans are not ready to expropriate the land because they are scared of sanctions, they are scared of backlash, then don't vote for the EFF. Because you vote for us, we are going to expropriate land. And Donald Trump will come for us. And Britain will come for us. And the EU will come for us. I said, and I said this throughout my life in the movement, that for everything good comes the pain before.
everything good comes to pain. He's basically saying, yo, I'm ready to die. Fuck it. I am ready to die. And that's the mentality we all should be having. Before something good comes to pain, that's the mentality we should be having. Fuck it, I'd rather die for my beliefs than be a fucking slave. You know what I'm saying? That's how we all should be thinking about it. You know what I mean? So, talking about, listen, I'm prepared for this shit. I know what they're gonna do. I know they're gonna have trade sanctions. I know Britain is gonna come for our necks. But guess what? We prepared for this. And for all you motherfuckers that voted for us and y'all like didn't, think that this was gonna happen, that was just all talk. Nah. I'm proving y'all wrong, and that's what the fuck I like. That's what I like out of this shit. And this is how we all should be thinking about. And this is what I want to personally find out, if the EFF government or something are accepting donations. Because so far from I'm researching, I haven't found anything. But if they are accepting donations, we should be, financing and backing them up, because they're gonna need a lot of help. Donald Trump already tweeted, you know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna let y'all listen to everything else that he has to say.
If you're not prepared, South Africa, to take the pain, then forget about the land. Donald Trump has not said anything extreme. Things are still going to come. I hope the Zuma group in the ANC, which is supporting this thing, they know the consequences. We know the consequences. We know that the first response will be killing. They will kill us for that. There's a group of white right-wingers who are being trained by Jews in Pretoria to be snipers.
You guys hear that? He's basically saying, listen, there's, a bunch of people out here that's gonna try to fuck us up, try to, stop us from uprising. And that's what the fuck I like to hear. That's what I like to hear, because what he's doing is he's not laying down. He's not standing down. He's actually doing his shit. And that's what I like to hear. We should be backing him financially, because they're planning on attacking this guy, attacking his movement. And that's what I like to hear. But he doesn't stop there. He says something very interesting, because Donald Trump, remember, he's saying that there's white genocide and all this other stuff. Remember, these are little code words white supremacists like to use. And good thing I'm doing this episode, because I'm going to break all these code words down. But check this out. Listen to what he says.
We remain unshaken. Actually, we are more determined after the Donald Trump tweet to expropriate our land without compensation. There is no white genocide here. It's an absolute rubbish to say there is white genocide. There is black genocide in the USA. They are killing black people in the USA. There is black genocide here in South Africa. Black people are being killed all the time.
Boom. Real talk. Real fucking talk. There's black genocide happening in the US. It's real talk. Everybody knows this shit. White supremacists know this shit. Everybody knows this shit. You don't think they don't know this? Come on. Everybody knows this. White supremacists know this shit. Just pay attention. Every time when a white cop, a white race soldier, kills a black unarmed person, and they start getting donations by white supremacist group. White supremacist groups start coming now in the hundreds and hundredfolds just to support and protect this guy. Come on, y'all seen the how Zimmerman was? Come on, white supremacist group was protecting this man, giving him millions and millions and millions of dollars. Yeah, hell yeah, they know. This ain't no fucking secret. No goddamn rocket science. You know what I'm saying? The whole world sees it. The whole world sees it. You know what I'm saying? The whole world sees it. So come on. But this is the crazy part. You guys know Tucker Carlson. For those who don't know, Tucker Carlson is a Fox News host of his show or whatever. He's just a little suspected white supremacist. And he likes to have like little things, poking at the plight of black people and all this other stuff. He likes to throw little things, and whenever he debates someone thorough, he always has a stupid ass look at this. He has a dumb ass look in his face, but whatever. So he basically responds to the EFF leader. I can't pronounce his brother's name, but I'm just gonna call him the EFF leader. So he responds to the EFF leader, and check this out. Look at what he said.
So we just said last night on the show, we highlighted what is a remarkable and very sad story. More than a quarter century after the end of apartheid, South Africa once again becoming a place where an entire group of people is targeted for discrimination and violence on the basis of their skin color. We oppose that, obviously. It was wrong 25 years ago. It is wrong now. It is wrong wherever and whenever it happens. So we call the State Department to get their view of what is currently happening in South Africa, because America's moral leadership still does matter. They told us they didn't care. Confiscating property without compensation is fine, they said, in effect, because South Africa was, quote, a strong democracy, whatever that means. Pretty shocking. We're not the only ones who found that answer hard to believe, by the way. The Washington Post insinuated today that we made that up. Unfortunately, we did not. The president saw our segment last night, and he tweeted this response to it, quote, I have asked Secretary of State Pompeo to closely study the South Africa land and farm seizures and expropriations and the large-scale killings of farmers. We should say that we did talk about the land seizures on the show last night. We did not address the killings that he referred to. We did mention the threat of violence. But in any case, today, the State Department elaborated on the president's tweet. Here's part of it.
I should mention that the expropriation of land without compensation, our position is that that would risk sending South Africa down the wrong path. We continue to encourage a peaceful and transparent public debate about what we consider to be a very important issue, and the South Africans certainly do as well.
So, I mean, that was kind of tepid, I guess. It's not going to solve the problem, but it's basically good news. Pushing back against racial discrimination is always worth doing. And yet, for some reason, a reason no one really explained, luminaries in the media disagreed. They were offended by that. In an Orwellian turn, various news outlets suggested it was somehow racist to oppose the racist policies of the South African government, even Nazi-like. Watch.
He goes to race. And what better way than to give this neo-Nazi propaganda that white farmers are being killed in South Africa, when in fact that is not true, not based on them being white.
So show that clip to anyone who knows South Africa, who lives there, and see how they respond. They'll laugh bitterly. It's ludicrous. It's a lie. The president of the country, Cyril Ramaphosa, has pledged to change South Africa's constitution in order to legalize the seizure of property without compensation. That's currently being debated in the parliament in South Africa. Even now, the government is trying to confiscate 2 game farms after the owners refused to sell at a fraction of the market price. Everyone in the country understands what these are. They're racial attacks.
Let me just pause here for 1 second. Don't you guys think it's kind of funny? Whenever something happens to the dominant society or anything like that, then they start calling everything out. This is racial attacks. Reverse racism. This is wrong. But when it comes to us, something happening to us, something happening to black folks, oh, well, you shouldn't have ran. Oh, well, the cop was scared for his life. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird, but check the tactic that Tucker's gonna use. What he's gonna use is a very, it's kind of clever. He's gonna contradict himself a lot, and I'm gonna call out his contradiction. So I'll let y'all listen to the beginning, and I'm gonna just cut in between. All right?
Okay, say defenders of the South African government in this country. But previous generations in South Africa, under the apartheid government, also seized land on racial grounds. And by the way, that is absolutely true. They did do that. And it's one of the reasons that so many decent people in this country and around the world opposed apartheid. Apartheid was awful and wrong.
So if you agree and apartheid is wrong and all this other shit, then what the fuck are you talking about? What are you talking about? Okay, apartheid is wrong. You took land from the African people, the black African people, the original people of this world. You took land from them. That's wrong. You admit that. That is wrong. But now it's not wrong when we're taking it back? No. Whoa, wait. Hold up. You see the double standard there? You see the double standard? He just admitted that. And now he's going to contradict. Check this out.
Things have changed, though. Now our elites endorse the idea of a racial spoils system. And that's the scariest part. It's far more ominous than whatever the corrupt and incompetent government of South Africa is doing. Our ruling class now believes in collective punishment. That is the opposite of justice. Nobody is alleging that individual farm owners in South Africa stole their land. Instead, the claim is that people who resemble them did, and that's enough.
I'm gonna pause here for 1 second. I hope you guys caught everything he just said. He basically said that, you know, the ruling class is saying that, listen, we're gonna punish you, and he's suggesting that's not justice whatsoever. How come that's not justice? Now I'm asking him, how is that not justice? You know, eye for an eye, but when it comes to punishing them, oh no, we gotta go by a different letter of the law. You know what I mean? So look at the connection that he's about to make, which is asinine. All right? Look at the connection. He just said, I'm gonna let you guys just hear that little small part and then connection to the other part. He basically just said that it's not the farm owners themselves, it's the people who resemble them. The people, so they shouldn't even be affected by this because they had nothing to do with this. It's the people who resemble them, right? Check this out. Just hear the connection he's trying to make. Watch.
Individual farm owners in South Africa stole their land. Instead, the claim is that people who resemble them did, and that's enough. Our elites see no problem with that standard. That should worry you a lot. If you got mugged, how would you feel about imprisoning someone who just happened to look like the mugger? How about the mugger's children? Should they be punished too?
This motherfucker just made a connection to mugging. This motherfucker basically just said, listen, I know white people fucked you up, they raped your land, they raped your culture, they stole you guys from your land, and you're trying to take that back, and that is justice. But why are you going up against the generation, their children's children who is benefiting from this? It's like if I robbed you years ago, robbed your family, and you are punishing my children. Why? What the fuck? Hey Tucker, please, I hope you are really listening. I doubt that you are, but some of your listeners, check this out. I really hope that you're listening. I doubt, but if you ever do, this is my response to you. Check this out. That shit, it's so fucking backwards. It makes no goddamn sense. All right. First of all, mugging someone, right, for their iPhone, mugging someone for their cash, right, one time, obviously is a one-time thing. Their whole generation is not benefiting continuously on that one mugging, just like the white African people are, all right, or the colonizers are, not the white African, but whatever, the colonizers are, all right. There's the big difference. The colonizers came into that land generationally, raping it, and benefiting from it. It's the same thing now. Basically, his equivalent right now, what he just did, is equivalent to saying, hey, why you care about slavery? You weren't there. You know what I'm saying? White people still benefit to this day about that. Okay? So yes, of course they should be getting punished. Your generation and those white farm owners, they should be getting punished because their grandparents stole this land, and guess what? Their children's children is benefiting from it. So if they're not gonna do anything for compensation, then guess what? The people of that land should be coming back. Should be coming in and being pissed off and taking their land back. Of course, that's a God-given right. Why the fuck would they not? You feel me? That shit is crazy. You heard that connection that he tried to do? If the mugging... No, there's no connection to that. That makes no goddamn sense. This is apples and oranges. That has not the level. This is what white supremacists do. They like to confuse you. That makes no fucking sense. So you mean to tell me generational punishment, it's a good thing? And remember, and yes, I do. I actually do. generational punishment is a good thing. You know why? Because those same people who benefit continuously, and still benefit to this day from the generational debt that we still endure, yeah, that's a good thing. That's definitely a good thing. You know what I mean? Hell yeah, that's a good thing. But now this is the thing. He even said, he started throwing a bunch of code words. You should be worried. You should be scared, and all this other stuff, because they don't want that to happen here. And this is what I'm saying. What we have to do is back the EFF. We gotta find a way to financially back them, because with Trump and England and all these other crazy ass nations, what they're gonna do is gonna get tariffs and cut them off with supplies and all this other crazy shit. What we have to do is get them on our back, saying, listen, we do not support their decisions. We live in this country, we do not support their decisions. What we gonna do is financially back you up. That's how we gotta rule this. That's how we gotta go. You know what I'm saying? That's how we gotta go, because you know why? Because once that, it's like the Haiti situation. Once they win, once they get what they got, guess what? It's gonna open the door and the floodgates for more. For more. You know what I'm saying? This is the first steps of freedom. And guess what? Blood is gonna be shed. And let's start shedding all of it. You know what I'm saying? But that's enough about, you know, that. Now let's get into the topic of the show.